What is going on, SoFi fans? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today I want to give you an overview of what is happening to SoFi, go over some of the data points, talking what shorts are doing, and just how the market is backwards right now. So I'm going to go over all that. Make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that, let's get right to it. So currently it is down 2.42%, a fair amount of volume being traded so far. So 6.07 million shares being traded within the first, 1 hour of the trading day. 34 is the average. And like I said, this is just, I feel, an overreaction. Just the market is backwards, not really acting as what it should. So I did actually add to my position at $8.50 today. So surprisingly, I actually did average up, which is a very rare thing for me to do. But at the time of doing this video, there hasn't been any SEC filings, no press releases, nothing like that. And the market is kind of selling off today because of good data. So once again, I did kind of mention how it's just backwards and not making sense because a lot of people are very fearful about what Powell potentially could do during the next Fed meeting. And that is on September the 20th. So a lot of people are just not really looking forward to that, or I guess they're maybe forward thinking about another 25 basis point increase. Who knows? But retail sales did come out today and it was amazing. Very, very good data. And of course, this does signal the fact that consumers are out there spending the money, making the money and stuff like that. Over and above that, which I feel doesn't make that big of a difference, but as you can see, Michael Burry has once again started to resurge and he is very much betting against the market. So you kind of have both of those things. A lot of people are more fearful about obviously Powell, but I feel like a lot of people are now starting to look at the stock market, seeing obviously a lot of stocks at all-time highs, maybe not justifiable. So they're kind of factoring in what Michael Burry is saying as potential truth or something to kind of watch for. So once again, you kind of have that aspect that just does not make sense. Over and above that, it is that time of season when a lot of institutions are disclosing their positions. So I want to go over a couple of them, one of which is right here, Vanguard. So they did increase their position in Q2 by 6.13%. So they have 73.8 million shares of SoFi. So very good stuff in that regard. But I want to bring up Morgan Stanley. And this is another one of those things that is just completely backwards. Because within Q2, Morgan Stanley did increase their position 86.46%. So they now have 12 million shares, at least at the end of Q2, of SoFi. So that is very good. But of course, if you look at a lot of the analyst ratings, it just makes you question things. So as you can see, 14 days ago, Jeffrey Adelson, whatever his name is, who has a 46% success rating, did give a rating from Morgan Stanley, a sell rating in fact, and a $7 price target. So once again, just something does not add up. And this is where SoFi is kind of stuck in a difficult scenario because a lot of these institutions right here are in direct competition to SoFi. So once again, they kind of get hit with these crappy ratings that are just meant to unfortunately cause a lot of volatility in a downward motion for SoFi, whereas most likely behind the scenes, these same institutions are buying the hell out of every dip. So again, this is why the market is just completely backwards right now, and also why a lot of people do not trust analysts. And even technically, I have no idea. SoFi is one of those stocks, and Wedbush, I have no idea what their relationship is, maybe behind the scenes, but somehow Wedbush, this David Cavalieri, who has a 40% success rating, that's just completely that's just dumb as hell. But in reality, whenever he gives a rating, somehow that has a lot of influence on SoFi. So maybe he is a bigger individual than I know. Maybe he's a mafia boss. I don't know. I'm not a financial advisor, so you guys always do your own due diligence. But I think that a lot of analysts behind the scenes, when they are giving sell ratings, it's kind of maybe a double-edged sword. So they're probably buying behind the scenes, like I said. So let me know you guys' thoughts on that in the comments below. I'll go over some of the data points as of right now, like I said, within the first 1 hour of the trading day. So $1.06 million in calls being purchased today versus 340,000 in puts. So based on this information, clearly they see it going up. So this dip is an overreaction, similar to what I thought, and this is why I did buy today, like I mentioned. As far as this, it is anticipated to go back between or stay between the 850 to anywhere from around 850 to 950 going into next week. But no matter what, when it comes down to options activity, whether it is this or this, it just technically is more of a sentiment, right? It doesn't move the stock price at all. So just be aware of that. And like I mentioned, a lot of good volume is being traded and not necessarily on the open market. So there's only been one transaction today over $100,000. It was 1.03 million, so fairly good in that regard, but kind of a little bit lower on the secondary market. So once again, just be aware of that. And based on the bid, the ask, and the selling price, this was a very good buy, well over the ask, in fact. As far as dark pool, similar nature, it's just very quiet within the first 1 hour, of course. So $508,000 transaction on the dark pool. Dark pool is very much linked to shorting, so I'll give you guys a quick overview of what they are doing. And like I said in the past, I'm just using this as a benchmark. I don't see SoFi being a squeeze as of right now, especially based on the data points and so forth. So short score is currently 57, utilization is 24.55%, and looking right here, so shorts are technically returning some shares, so 87,000 shares, and once again, how I interpret this data is if shorts are returning on a red day, that means that they do not believe it's justified. So once again, more of a overreaction. So far today, you have within the first 1 hour of the trading day, 2 different indicators all pointing that today is an overreaction, that it should bounce higher. So just be aware of that. So 13.99% of the free float is being shorted, 112.81 million shares overall are being shorted, and cost to borrow average is surprisingly going up a little bit, so 1.88%. So interesting stuff behind the scenes, but a lot of people want to know, where is SoFi heading next? So just taking a little bit more of a further step back and a viewpoint on this. So currently it is lower percentile of the Bollinger Band, below the 50-day moving average. And as far as right now, with it being at $8.54, so it's kind of making up a little bit of room, it is between this S2 and the S1. So $7.96 is a very strong support, the next support, and $8.87 is that next big resistance. Very wide spread right here, so there's going to be a lot of volatility, like I've been saying over the last several videos, but generally I do feel that it is going to move up in a positive direction, that a lot of kind of external factors are just trying to bring down a lot of these growth stocks to kind of reset a lot of the technicals, because there's a lot of stocks that are at all-time highs over the last several days and maybe not justifiable. So once again, a lot of different things at play, but I do feel that SoFi, if you think bigger picture, is a steal of a deal at these prices. And when it comes down to looking at this, the number of retail investors are getting out today, so kind of surprising about that. Stochastic is currently at 6. There is a very small starting point of a bullish sentiment starting to kind of creep out there. So who knows exactly what that might develop, or potentially how high it might go as a result. But like I said, based on today at least, I think it's an overreaction, and it should most likely over probably in the next couple of days touch this 887 once again. So let me know you guys' thoughts on SoFi in the comments below. Give yourself a shout out if you have been buying, selling, holding, what you have been doing behind the scenes. And where do you guys see things going? Do you think it's going to go touch maybe the high 7s, or do you think it's going to go back to the high 8s next? Potentially. So once again, don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. If you do like my channel though, and want to support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, and also the comments. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's all make a ton of money on SoFi.